Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have some South Africa for you guys today on Punch Bowl. I'm playing against Union, who is a friend of the channel, and I'm headed up toward Bravo and Charlie for the most part. Two detachments headed toward Bravo, one intended for the lower section, one for the higher. We have a light garrison headed toward Echo, as well as a Rattle ZT3A1, just an attempt to put some good ATGMs in this section to defend against the middle as well as down the straight. So we'll see how it goes, and right off the bat I do have to say, as was pointed out to me a couple days ago now, well, about the time of this going up, I make a rookie mistake here. So my Ruvalk is too far ahead, the XH1 Alpha should be ahead of him, and this is going to cost me. Plus, these guys did not take the route that I thought they would, and that is going to be deadly, but the Ruvalk, one shot off and second shot off, just able to trade with an enemy Sokol, and that leaves the last helicopter, a transport helicopter with command infantry of all things, to just get out of dodge. I mean, that should have been an easy kill from a really pissed off Ruvalk. But we have a lot going on here early as my opponent is driving straight through Echo, losing a lot on the way, by the way, so Bergermach are getting some damage done, even just with those super bazookas, and we kill a couple of KRKKs, a couple of transports, a couple of Terramusties, but the enemy does get through, and that is going to be costly. In the middle, T-72S has absolutely anchored this side, and my Rattle 20 Milans are not able to get the damage they need to on that. But that was just me moving the commandant, by the way, no big deal there. You can see the W3T Sokol, this is the guy that we should have killed and didn't. Hawk Bomber now able to come in and shoot the pair of Pathfinders because the W3T saw them land, and that's going to be very costly as well, down to 1 strength between the bomb and the explosion of that helicopter, so that's really unfortunate. And then, oh, jeez, cat playing with the bag in the background, my apologies there. But SASF and Mech Inf are sparring kind of okay with Panzerjäger in the middle, and the situation in Echo Foxtrot could be worse, but that doesn't show the... yeah, here they are. So there's a Terramusty, there's some transports as well that have gotten through, and that Ruvalk is, second Ruvalk now, is going to be the only thing anchoring this side. I probably should have gone with the XTP Beta? Just the cheaper ATGM one. I didn't really need the Mistrals here, so this was a bit of a panic buy, which, again, another bad habit. But, you know, we all live and learn and play the game better, hopefully, as time does go on. So, we were able to kill that command helo and infantry. You can see the downed helicopter, along with some angry, shouting South Africans on that side. And this contingent here is going to be able to spread out and secure the far side, from my end anyway, of Delta, which should be pretty nice indeed. But we've lost a couple units here. There's some, I think they're Panzerjäger, who are still around, and Bergermach are not really going to be able to deal with them, but between them and the Buffles, I was hoping to screen this out and be able to at least deny my opponents the easy go-around on the FOB. But we are still getting pushed back here. Only a couple of Bergermach trackers and a single Milan team with bad line of sight is left, and enemy spike team moving up as well, so I was getting concerned about the Bravo-Charlie route, because if there's no resistance here, it's a pretty easy dash. But we do have contacts now on this side, LN90s shooting in, but KTs are going to outfight LN90s most of the time. 20 points against 20 points. The GT2 just doesn't have the rate of fire it needs, the accuracy it needs to get that done. You can see we even got a hit there, no joy. Only the second LN90 was able to save it, and now we have Yekri to deal with, of all things. So T-72S really far back, Bergermach sparring with some Terramusties, and we have a lots of problema, as the South African infantry are saying, around here in the back zone. So I wasn't able to get the kill there. The Ruvalk is just standing sentry, probably shouldn't. But the Hawk Bomber again making his presence known, and this time going in after, it looks like whatever I have in this town. A couple of blind bombing runs definitely did get made this game. I think Union was just trying to make up for the chaos of that opener with some good, valuable kills. So Panzerjäger 90 are spotted. These guys, 20.5 point shock infantry, are very, very nice. And I feel like that KK-62 is pretty decent as well. We get some damage on them with the Ruvalk, so let's see. Second volley, no. But I did lose the XH1 Alpha, which is really too bad. 30 points. Of course, these guys, Panzerjäger, have now paid for themselves. And if we switch just for a second here, the Panzerjäger down to 6 men are still alive. Of course, only 25 points worth of cost, and I've spent on a Ruvalk, I've spent on Bergermach, Buffles, all of this base defense stuff, just because I wasn't quite able to take them out at the pass. So that is the cost of failure in the early game. It will come back and bite you. But in the meantime, we have done a pretty nice job here of dissuading Union from headed up toward Delta. and that means even more is going to be headed toward the center. So we saw the Spike team earlier, Ito 90s, Panzer Yakuri 90 as well, pushing out my trackers and my Bokamog soon. And I bought a couple of LN90s. Excuse me, I've been having some voice trouble lately, but I bought a couple of LN90s just to head things off here to get some scouting, and just in time too, as there are KTs, probably with infantry, inbound this way, and my other command vehicle by, I guess, well, command infantry by headed toward Delta, was a little bit poorly timed. So I wanted to get a +4 because that can be really oppressive and send your opponent into a bit of a panic, which is always a good thing for you and a bad thing for them, but I needed some more boots on the ground than I had. We do get one of the KTs. Oh, jeez. Look how quickly that LN90 dies to a KT. One frontal armor really can't stand up to an autocannon, especially not one as good as what's on that's XA180 KT, so 185 KT rather. And now the T-72 is up, making himself known again. Ito 90 also will be taking out my Puma 330H, but there's not all that much I can do, and the last Ruakot buy is the only thing that I have really headed up into this section. So my Caspian BV is vulnerable. These XH1 Alphas are spotting for me right now, but they'll also get killed by the KTs if they get too close, so that's not good either. And we still have that nagging nuisance of something back here that has to be taken care of, but I didn't really have time to deal with it then. We can't leave everything back there, so the Ruavolk is headed up just as another sort of tool to put in position here. You can see the XH1 sparring with that KT, distracting him so my Ruakot can get the kill, and that does prompt a little bit of a retreat, so the other one not willing to brave the open ground against the Ruakot's 105's gun. But, ooh, actually he is. Look at that. Cheeky, and definitely paid the price. So KT does get shot in the side, down he goes. The first one carried infantry, the second one did not, so at least the infantry in the second one are safe for right now. But we do have men moving up, going to be going after those Bergamot. T-72S getting really kind of aggressive as well, and this probably needed smoke to stay alive a little bit better. Whenever you attack with something this valuable, it's going to draw attention. 125 points is something I definitely want to kill to, well, make my opponent have to replace it, and that's a lot of points that they're not doing something else with. So Panzer Yakuni 90 sparring with Bergamot. We do also have another push in Foxtrot Buccaneer taking a creative angle. This was something, so I'm bringing him in. Look at that, that's a nice little photo. Ooh, starting to clip right there. I brought him in at a little bit of an angle. I was hoping to get a side shot on the T-72 if I could manage it, which we've already gotten actually off of the Milan team here. So one shot, one hit, and down to only 4 strength left. That Buccaneer is going to have an absolute field day. First missile on the way, and that's all it takes. Second missile is going to be going over and just hitting a resupply vehicle, because why not? Hawk 51 does, I think, take out, or at least shoot at my Puma, and then it's going to be using those bombs somewhere else. Actually, no, that looks like it was an XH1 Alpha that was killed. Pretty valuable kill there. I mean, half the cost of the Hawk, but if you can get something else on the ground as well, it'd be pretty nice. Yakuri are not going to be able to stand up to this many guns, though, so we have prevented catastrophe here by securing these woods on the side, but Bravo has been pretty well and truly lost. That bomber is going to make use of that engagement to kill a couple of mech inf, which, I mean, that Hawk, I think, definitely was doing some good work. Down to 4 men left, 1 unit killed outright, the other one nearly killed. Panzer Yakuri actually still not able to chew through the sheer meat of my Bogamok. We're down to 1 unit instead of 2, so only 13 men left of the original 30, but just look at how long they've been getting shot at. That's pretty impressive. And this was something, so I wanted to bomb these guys when they were stationary, and then, well, again, I tend to panic by some of those things where you see me using bombing runs with poorly chosen targets. It's not something I suggest you emulate should you want a successful game. But we are taking out a +4. Retzel 20 is able to get a couple of cheeky kills here. Ruakot as well on this side, but I wanted some infantry, some scouts to pad things out. And the Ruakot actually, that was a very nice kill. Look at that. Let's see. Pretty long distance, and that looks like... Ooh, I can't quite tell. Ooh, I should know that. I think that was Sopel anti-air? That could be. It looked like anti-air with the gun. So these guys have started moving. I wasn't able to quite get the counter I wanted up yet. Not quite able to buy a bomber to flatten whatever advance was being planned there. Turns out it was just the KTs and those infantry. So my Rattles taking pot shot here. 50-point ATGM vehicle barely surviving. If this KT had kept firing, that would have been a dead Rattle. So lucky for me that they were right-clicked instead of attack moved. Otherwise that would have been really bad. And my bombs split the difference here, so no damage to the Yakuri. Stun the KT, but really no significant damage to it. I'm going to have to follow things up The Rulevolk far more forward than I really want. But we have infantry now headed back toward Bravo. These mech inf are going to try to secure the town. We have decent fire support with the Razzle 20s and the Volkop 90. So again, sitting them in a little bit blind, not smoking is not great on either end, whether it's T-72S or just standard infantry, that do get expensive over time when lost. But the Rulevolk's able to get that second KT, and now knowing that they were Yakuri over here, knowing that my Rattles, well, I mean the MG4 is not going to be enough to take down a double squad before the Rattle dies. We are going to retreat and cycle up a couple of Rattle 90s. These guys have those GT2 direct fire guns, and I was really just mostly trying them out. I think I'm going to get rid of them. I think the Rattle 20s are probably a little bit more cost effective. Just the autocannon's rate of fire making up for any shortcomings in the gun itself. But they were just headed forward, making sure nothing's passing through these trees, and just trying to make sure that I could... jeez, saying one word too many times. Just trying to see if the Rattle ATGM vehicle could get out safely. But Hawk coming in again, I definitely did not have sufficient air defenses. I'm really not the biggest fan of South Africa's air defenses, but you can't just not use them. It's not a good solution. Buccaneers get Naito 90, and we are able to get another kill as well back there, but again, just a cheap resupply vehicle, so not a lot of true value. But Volkop 90 moving forward, and we have reclaimed these towns a little bit. Mechinf shooting at Panzer Yakuri in the open. Well, no, Volkop shooting at them. Mechinf just chilling, taking their time, but Rulevolk also supporting, and that's going to be pretty nice. So Bravo is not in our hands, but it is at least contained. Delta and Charlie are pretty well contained as well, and Echo is no longer a critical problem right now. So with that, we're rounding 330 points, and that +4 is getting to be oppressive indeed. So my opponents, we were in Discord at the time, and I think it was one of those, I don't know, I mean, it was definitely a casual game. This was not the sweaty sort of ranked game that's, that people are always looking for, but I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good time. LN90 with a better optics now coming up to support the Rattle 90s, and you can see, I mean, the Terramusti just seems like a more valuable buy. One shot. Yeah, they traded, but that's 5 points in favor. Oh, yeah, 5 points in favor of the Terramusti if it's not a transport, which I think the non-transport's 10, transport's 15? Is that the case? Not really sure. But, I don't know. I think the recoilless rifle jeeps are just a little bit better. Cheetah C is going to be circling, just trying to dissuade a couple more of those Hawk bombers from coming in and feeling like they can get free ride through my lines. But I don't know. I'm not really sure that that was worthwhile. We do spot an Mi-24D probably carrying something, so that was something I definitely wanted to die. And now the XH-1 Alpha, backed up by the Mistrals and the Rulevolk, should do a decent job. So rocket pods do get fired, but yet one Mistral, two Mistral, down you go. And none of the infantry are going to survive that either, but we get... Whoa! Hold on! These guys survived! Commandosi surviving a helicopter crash just to get shot. But we do also see with the XX-1 Alpha the remains of those Panzer Yakuri. They get another kill, and the Rulevolk's autocannon is going to be the end of that unit. So they lived a grand old life, had a grand old time, and just not able to get the job done. So L90 killing a Sopel. This is the nice thing about that bigger gun, right? So one shot, 8 AP isn't amazing, and they're heats. They don't benefit from the shorter distance, but 1 or 2 shots is going to be enough to kill things, especially if they can't fight back. Like the Sopel really just can't stand up to things like that. But I don't know. I mean, here's why I say I think the Rattle 20, although I don't have any left alive, would be better, and that's because of the kinetic tag on the Rattle 20. So we did actually lose the CV in Charlie, but that has been recapped. This was just a blind bombing run, I think, by my opponent. There were a couple that were coming in, just like what was going into Alpha there, so if you take a look, yeah, he was headed for this town block, because it's a pretty common one for command infantry, but I went for the town block in the center. Just, it's where I tend to go, so if you play against me and you bomb right there, I'll just say, okay, you watched my video, and, well, now I'm dead, but it's fun while it lasted. So yeah, more bombers coming in, and these guys I think are just flattening different towns looking for that command infantry, but just not able to get there, and that's going to be the game. So, well played to Union, thanks for the fun time, and hope to catch you around soon. I think we actually have a few more games next couple days, including a pretty compelling loss on my end that will be going up on the channel shortly. So, units that did very well are, surprisingly, Bergamot, that killed a couple of Terramustis at the start, more Bergamot that killed So they didn't outfight CC, they just killed the transport with the super bazookas and were able to panic and stun the CC and then take them down that way. So Rattle 20 Milan killing a T-72M1, that I definitely have no complaints about. You probably just got the finishing touch, as my other Milan teams and the other Rattle 20 Milan almost certainly did help, but I don't know, these guys impressed me this game. The BMP-1KT kill was also very nice, and then Rule Volk here with Terramusti, KT, Mi-24D and the Commandosi really sort of sealed the deal on the cost effectiveness of that unit, but my first one was maybe not so lucky. So HH10, and then we did suicide into a Sokol there, but it didn't get counted because the Ruvok was already dead. So bad luck for him. And yeah, I mean, a couple of the LN90s did very well, but I think, yeah, the Rattle 90s didn't get very many kills. A couple of Terramustis, but the Rattle 20s did far better against infantry as well as the ZIL 157, and that's going to be all she wrote for this game. So thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.